What's going on, YouTube? Ferocity here. Hope you guys are doing well. It's official. XDefiant is shutting down. As of June 3rd, 2025, the Ubisoft FPS arena shooter will cease to exist. The servers will be shut down. So we have about 6 months left to enjoy this game. Unless, of course, you haven't already downloaded the game or created an account, because you will no longer be able to do that as of yesterday, December 3rd. And all of this comes from a very long tweet from Mark Rubin, which I will link down below in the description. And I can't read this tweet without getting extremely disappointed, because I wanted XDefiant to succeed. I really did. I looked at this game with so much hope and so much optimism, but unfortunately, hope and optimism can only go so far. At the end of the day, you need players to play the game, and not enough people were playing the game. Not enough people were buying the cosmetics. As much as I harp on Call of Duty always trying to extract every dollar from their player base, they do it. XDefiant was unable to do it. They were unable to separate their players from their wallets, and they were unable to maintain a healthy player base. Now, over the next few days and weeks, you'll hear everybody have their own opinion as to why XDefiant failed. But I don't want to do that here. I don't want to theorize exactly what happened. I think it's pretty clear. The game started off on the wrong foot. It had a ton of hype and excitement around it. But unfortunately, because the game started off in such a poor state, players were not interested in returning. As much as the game got more content, became more stable from a connection standpoint, people did not want to go back. It left a sour taste in their mouths that nobody could overcome. And despite everything that changed, despite the improvements, it wasn't enough. Yes, they carved out a dedicated player base, but that dedicated player base wasn't spending enough money, and they were not large enough as a group to keep the game afloat. It's as simple as that. And it's disappointing, because there's so many great takeaways from XDefiant, so many great ideas that XDefiant had, and unfortunately, they're now all lost. I'll start with the easiest one, the no SBMM. You know, I was playing XDefiant yesterday, and to go from playing Black Ops 6 to XDefiant is so different, because you get that variety within your gameplay. Yeah, sure, sometimes you're going to get absolutely crushed, but then other games you'll have a game like I'm having here. And on top of it, doesn't feel like mid-game I'm nerfed, or that the game is rigged against me, or whatever it might be. The game feels smooth and consistent throughout an entire game. Now, of course, that's more or less a conspiracy theory on Call of Duty, but I digress. I just really enjoy the gameplay here in XDefiant, and I love the fact that the game was focused more so on gameplay than anything else, and they thought the gameplay was going to be enough. And unfortunately, players now want more cosmetics, they want more customization, they want more to their games than just solid gameplay. I don't think I've ever said this before, but I think if Halo 3 released today, players would say it lacks content. Even though that game is fantastic and relies solely on gameplay, there's not a lot of customization. There's not a lot of challenges or things to earn in that game. And I think that's just more so part of the landscape today that wasn't there yesterday. I think if XDefiant released back in 2012, 2011, it would have fared a lot better. But either way, I really think that the biggest thing that I want to focus on is the passion from the developers, because it was very clear that the developers were passionate about this game, and it showed with the way they created the maps, with the way they created the characters, the way that they focused on the gameplay, the way they were transparent with the community. As much as people want to come out and say Mark Rubin was lying about Ubisoft shutting them down, what did you expect him to do? Say, hey, yeah, although those reports are true? No, of course he's covering his own behind. He has to. But nonetheless, I really appreciate what Mark Rubin and his team did to be honest with the community as much as they could. Talk about the problems. Face their problems head on. So much of what we see in modern day landscapes for video games is developers shying away from the game's flaws and problems, and we see this predominantly with Call of Duty. They do it all the time. They want to pretend that the game is perfect even though it's not. And I love the fact that XDefiant was always coming out and saying, we know the netcode sucks and we have to improve it. We know that these factions need improvement. We know that the spider bot isn't where the player base wants it to be, so we'll change it. And they were always willing to try things and fail, which I appreciate. You don't always have to succeed every single time you make an adjustment to the game. You just have to realize that, hey, this adjustment didn't work, let's revert it back. And they were always willing to work with the community when it came to their weapon grind, to make sure that the weapon grind was more accessible and more rewarding than it had been previously. Like, if you compare the weapon grind to when the game launched to where it is today, it's vastly different. You know, now you earn weapon XP when you capture a point in domination or when you're playing a point in occupy. These are massive changes. These are massive differences from when the game launched. But it's all because of the consistent feedback from the community. And that, for me, is the big takeaway here. That, for me, is why XDefiant was different. Because they were willing to listen to their community and incorporate those changes to enhance their game. Because it wasn't just a game for the developers, it was a game for the community. And I'm just going to miss that aspect of it. Because now what we're left with is a game that's made for shareholders, which is exactly what Call of Duty is. And that's what it's come down to. And that's one of the worst aspects of this shutdown, is the fact now Call of Duty basically has a monopoly over the arena shooter genre. What I look to as a true competitor, as XDefiant was, is now gone. So they don't have to compete with anybody. So the scummy tactics are only going to get worse. The lack of accountability is only going to get worse because nobody is there to hold them responsible. Not their fans, not the industry. So they have free reign to do whatever they want. It's up to games like Battlefield or Halo to finally re-enter the space and try to create something for the community so that Call of Duty can finally focus on making great games again. Because unfortunately, that's not what they're focused on right now. So all in all, it's a very disappointing situation. It's not something that I was expecting. I was 100% on that hopium and copium that it wouldn't get shut down, but here we are. It's a massive disappointment. I enjoyed my time on the game. I'm going to enjoy the next 6 months on the game. I'm happy that they're releasing the Season 3 content despite the game being shut down. So all in all, I'm honestly just hoping for the best. I'm looking forward to playing this game and extracting as much fun as I can out of it and moving on to whatever comes in the future. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on XDefiant, what you enjoyed, what you're going to miss down below in that comment section. Yeah, simple as that, guys. Just kind of sucks. Really does. Again, that link to Mark Rubin's tweet will be down below in the description if you want to read it. Yeah, I'm at a loss of words, so I'm going to end the video there. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, can you please hit that like button? If you want to see more videos from me, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.